Okay folks, what I'd like to do is I'd just like to go over the analysis that was done by myself on Friday morning, getting us all ready for the trading day. I just want to run through the Euro and the GBP and just go into a little bit more detail what I was trying to explain as regards this particular candle right here on the Euro, which is the engulfing bullish candle on the daily. And if I just switch to the GBP, this very same candle right here, which is again an engulfing bullish candle on the GBP. So let's just go into a little bit more detail what I explained, and for those of you that watched the analysis video, then you'll be completely aware. For those of you that didn't manage to watch it, maybe you should just go and watch it if you didn't manage that, so that you can fully understand what I'm trying to explain right now. So on the Euro, I explained here that we've got this engulfing bullish candle, and what we could potentially expect on Friday was a test of this candle and a short trade for the day. So let's move to the 15-minute on the Euro and just see exactly what happened. Now, we have this downtrend line drawn in right here, and what I said to you was, if we get a bullish break of this trend line, so a full-bodied candle break above this trend line, we can look to take a long trade. Well, here you go. This was the candle. Just let me point the candle out. We've got this particular candle right here, a full-bodied break above the trend line, a bullish candle, and this is where we should have looked to get into the trade. This is exactly what I explained on the tutorial, or sorry, on the analysis video. So if we got into this trade, we'd have managed to get into this trade at this point right here, which is the open of the next candle. We'd have taken that trade and we'd have been able to take this ride right up here. Now, once we'd taken the break of this candle, what I did was I then drew in, we got this trade, we got this replay, so I managed to draw in this uptrend line right here while we were still in the trade. But look what happens. Up this trend, we've got this uptrend line right here. We get a full body break below the trend line. Remember, keep it simple, folks. Let's not complicate trading. A full body break above this trend line. Let's get into the trade on the open of the next candle. This was the open of the next candle. Let's take the trade. Keep it simple. This uptrend line has now been drawn in. An inner uptrend line has now been drawn in. But look what we've got. We've got a full-bodied break below the trend line. What's this trying to tell us? It's trying to tell us that what I was explaining about the test of that engulfing bullish candle, this candle right here on the daily, this candle is potentially beginning to start. It's beginning to take place. So you should have been well out of this trade. This trade here that you maybe got into, I know a couple of you did get into the trade because we discussed it. We had conversations on Friday about getting into this trade and when to get out of the trade. So this one was the indication. We've broken the inner trend line. Get out of the trade and now prepare yourself for the test of this particular trend. And here you can see this is the uptrend line, or the inner trend line, that we're actually, again, we've broken the inner trend line. What usually happens when we're breaking in a trend line? We move to the next trend line. It's moved to the next trend line. Look at this candlestick right here, a full body break below the trend line. Was this an indication to get in again? Potentially, yes, of course it was. You could have got in on the open of this candle, or of course the test of the back of this trend line. So there you go. That was the Euro. That's your potential trade that we had on the Euro. And of course now it's testing, or it started to test, that engulfing candle. So let's have a look at the GBP. Well, this was the GBP, this was the engulfing bullish candle that I talked about, and expect the test. Well, look at this test. It was an amazing day for the test. So this was the engulfing bullish. I said to you, be careful because expect a short, potential short trade. We can expect a test of this engulfing candle. Let's move to the 15-minute and let's see exactly what we saw. Well, this was the trend line that we had drawn in. I said to you, wait for that break, full bodied break below the trend line. Well, look at this engulfing candle. This was the potential signal to get in, and you had three ways to look at this now, three particular options how to get into this short trade. So let's talk about the first option. Well, the first option was this particular candle. Okay, it's not a full body break below the trend line. We've got a little bit here that's still above, but such an engulfing bearish candle that to me that was a signal that you could have taken on the open of the next candle to potentially get into the trade. You could have entered on the open of the candle, there's the open, and you would have then been risking to the high of this point. This high point would have been your stop point. So if I just take this, we would have been looking at drawing in the Fibonacci's right here. Oops, just a second, sorry, cancel that out. That's a little bit later on. We've been looking at getting into this particular trade right here on the open, risking around about 70 pips, but the gain would have been approximately 100 pips. So this would have been your stop above here, above this high point right here. This was your first option to get into the trade. The full body break below the open of the next candle, you could have got into that trade. So that's option number one. Also, let's take a look at something right here, because if I just draw in here, past support, potential, past support now becomes resistance. There's a point of support right here. Take a look at this. This is your point of support. Whoops, the daisies, wrong one. This is your point of support right here. Now what happened? The market came down. It found a support area on the back of the trend line, then took a bounce, came down, and what we've done, we've broken the trend line, taken out this low point right here, and then what we're seeing is we're now seeing a retracement. We're back to support, now becomes resistance, and then it's fallen. So option number two would have been to wait until it comes back towards this area. When it hit this previous support, potential resistance, you could now have got into this trade right here. What you also saw form right here at that potential area here is an evening star. Look at that candlestick formation. So you could have got in at this area right here, or you could have waited for confirmation. We've got an evening star. Remember, just keep it simple. What's the market telling you? The market's telling you that it's come back up to previous support, now resistance. This is an area where if you get a candlestick formation, this is the candlestick formation, evening star, then now we can potentially enter the market, placing your stop above the evening star if you want to. That's another option. Now, once we've got this retracement, we could have put in our Fibonacci's. This is the time to put in your Fibonacci. Look, here we go. It came up to a 38.2 retracement, which is equal to, so you got convergence again, evening star. Another reason, convergence, evening star, 38.2 retracement. Or, of course, what you often see me do is you often see me wait for a retracement to the back area of this trend line before we see the fall. Now, something else to point out to you. What do you see? We see head and shoulders or crown formation. Left shoulder, left tip, center tip, break the trend line, take out previous lows. Then, of course, here you saw the right tip form, and at the previous support becomes resistance, and it fell. Now, this is not an ideal crown, admittedly. The ideal crown would have been that it would have come back up to test the back of this area. This is your left tip or left shoulder area, come back up to this area, and then it fell, and there's your head and shoulders or crown. But that would have been an ideal crown. We didn't get an ideal crown, but we still certainly got a great crown formation. Left tip, left shoulder, center tip or head, and then this here, previous support now becomes resistance, giving you a right tip situation, and then we saw the fall. So that's another way that you could have potentially got into that market as well. But look at these signals. Keep it simple. Previous support becomes resistance. There you've got an evening star, candlestick formation. Get into the trade right there. You've got an easy 70 or 80 pips there. I know some of you did take this trade. Congratulations for those of you that did. I just thought I'd like to put this little tutorial together for you, just to give you some idea of how how Friday developed from the analysis video that I provided, how the trading day actually developed, and how you could have got into the trade. Catch you later.